Imagine your life is like a river. The water flows without stopping, bringing brilliant opportunities, but also sweeping away what you don't know how to manage. Money works the same way. It's not an end in itself, but the current that can carry you toward your dreams or drag you to the shore of chaos and frustration. Throughout history, millions of people have searched for the key to prosperity. And although times change and cultures evolve, some rules remain eternal. Today, I want to reveal 10 of these golden rules to you, principles that can transform your relationship with money forever. As you listen, don't take this as just information. Think of this as a conscious journey, a map that can show you where you are, where you're going, and how to start building the financial freedom you've always dreamed of. Get ready, because what's coming isn't just theory. It's proven strategies and eternal principles that can change your financial life forever. That said, let's begin our journey to financial success. Rule 1. The power of your financial map. Imagine for a moment that you decide to take a trip to an unknown city. You have the car, you have fuel, you even have the motivation, but you don't have a map or a GPS. Chances are you'll end up lost, wasting time, money, and energy on the wrong routes. The same thing happens when you try to move toward financial freedom without a record of your expenses. Keeping detailed records is literally your financial map. It's not a whim. It's the tool that transforms uncertainty into clarity. The National Endowment for Financial Education revealed that more than 62% of people don't know exactly how much they spend each month. This means that 6 out of 10 people live in financial darkness, relying on memory, intuition, or simply avoiding looking at their numbers. But here's the truth. Clarity is power. Every receipt you save, every coffee you jot down, every invoice you record is a coordinate on your map. Over time, that map begins to reveal invisible patterns. You may discover you're spending more on transportation than you thought, or that those seemingly harmless little treats add up to hundreds, even thousands of dollars a year. If you spend $5 a day on coffee outside the home, that's $150 a month. In a year, that becomes $1,800. And in a decade, that's $18,000, not counting interest or potential investments you could have made with that money. That's the power of observation and conscious choice. Tracking doesn't mean banning yourself, it means empowering yourself. It means you're no longer walking blindly, but rather shining a flashlight in the middle of the forest. And when you light your path, the right decisions become easier. How to get started? Use a notebook and write down every expense. Or download a finance app that does it automatically. The important thing isn't the method, but the consistency. Remember, a map is only useful if you review it frequently. It's not enough to record it, you have to analyze it. Ask yourself, where am I spending too much? What expenses can I reduce or eliminate? What small changes would make a big impact in a year? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your financial life as a journey. Would you rather walk in the dark waiting for luck, or draw the map that will lead you straight to financial freedom? If you decide to start drawing your own financial map today, write this phrase in the comments. Nothing stops me. Everything drives me. Rule 2. The art of designing your budget. A budget isn't a chain that limits you. It's a compass that guides you. When we hear the word budget, many think of restrictions, of not enjoying ourselves, of cutting out everything that brings pleasure. But a budget isn't a prohibition, it's a direction. Imagine your life as a movie. You're the protagonist and your money is the cast. If every dollar enters the scene without an assigned role, the story becomes chaotic, without a plot or purpose. But if you give it a clear role, household, savings, investment, education, leisure, then your movie makes sense. According to the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, nearly 57% of households in the United States don't have a detailed budget. That means more than half of families are drifting along, without a plan to guide how they use their money. Without a budget, money slips through your fingers. With a budget, every dollar becomes a soldier with a clear mission. Let's say your monthly income is $2,000. A well-structured budget could be divided like this: 40% for housing and basic services, 20% for savings and investments, 15% for food, 10% for education and personal development, 10% for leisure and experiences, 5% for unexpected expenses. The result, not only do you cover the essentials, but you also ensure that savings and investments are the pillars of financial freedom that are always present. A budget doesn't mean spending less, it means spending with purpose. It means giving money an active role in building your future. Remember this phrase: every unallocated dollar is a dream lost in thin air. But there's something else. A budget must be flexible. It's not a straitjacket. It's a compass that adjusts its course according to life's storms. There will be months when you should allocate more to health, others when you can save more. The important thing is to never lose your way. Imagine for a moment that every dollar you receive is like a worker in your personal business. If you don't give them clear tasks, they'll be lost in the dust. But if everyone has a defined role, your life business will thrive. Rule 3. The shield against the unexpected. Life is full of surprises. Some are pleasant, an unexpected promotion, an opportunity that arrives out of nowhere. But many others hit without warning: a car repair, a medical bill, a leak in your home, an appliance that stops working at the worst possible moment. Most people, when faced with an unexpected expense, are forced to use their credit card or borrow money. And in that instant, what seemed like a simple surprise turns into a chain of debt. This is where the financial shield comes in, setting a limit on unplanned expenses and being prepared for them. According to the U.S. Federal Reserve, 37% of Americans couldn't cover an unexpected expense of $400 without going into debt. That means a simple setback can completely shake up your finances. The secret is to create a rainy day fund. You don't need to start with thousands, just build a cushion step by step. You can set an initial goal of $500 and then increase it to cover 3 to 6 months of basic expenses. This fund is your shield. It doesn't prevent the storm, but it does protect you from the impact. Imagine setting aside just $50 a month for an emergency fund. In a year, you'll have $600. It doesn't seem like much, but that $600 can be the difference between sleeping peacefully or falling into 20% interest debt. And here's the key: shielding against the unexpected isn't just an emergency fund. It's also a mental discipline. It's about setting a limit for spending outside your budget. For example, you could decide that you won't spend more than $100 a month on unplanned purchases. That way, even if temptation arises, you know how far you can go without breaking your balance. Think of it as an invisible wall that protects you from chaos. Life will always bring surprises, but a good financial shield allows you to face them without fear. And now I want to ask you, how strong is your shield against the unexpected today? If you decide you're ready to strengthen it, write it in the comments with this phrase: I accept success, money, and happiness into my life. Rule 4. The invisible luxuries trap. When we think about money, we tend to believe that the real threat is big expenses: buying a car, traveling uncontrollably, spending on luxury items. But the reality is more subtle. The silent enemy of your wealth isn't always big expenditures, but rather the invisible luxuries that seep into your daily life. Let's talk about examples. That streaming subscription you no longer use but continue to pay for every month. That $5 coffee you buy every morning out of habit, not necessity. That fast food order you repeat 3 times a week. Or that impulsive online purchase of something you didn't really need. At first glance, these seem like small, almost harmless expenses. But here's the trap. Their repetition turns them into a constant drain on your wealth. According to a study by the consulting firm Truebill, the average person spends around $348 a year on forgotten or unused subscriptions. And if you add small daily expenses like coffee or delivery, that figure can easily exceed $2,000 annually. Now think, $2,000 invested each year at an 8% compound return over 20 years turns into more than $98,000. Do you see the real cost of those little treats? What seems like a harmless luxury today is actually a thief of your future. The key isn't to live without pleasure or deprive yourself of everything. The key is to distinguish between what you truly enjoy and what you consume out of inertia. When you cut out invisible luxuries, you're not punishing yourself, you're freeing yourself. You're regaining financial oxygen, mental clarity, and space to direct your money toward what really matters: your freedom, your peace of mind, and your goals. Think of this as opening the windows in a stuffy room. Suddenly, fresh air rushes in, and your wallet and life begin to breathe. Rule 5. The food of financial knowledge. Money is much more than bills and coins. It's a language. And like any language, it has its own grammar, vocabulary, and logic. Books, courses, and materials about finance are its dictionaries and learning manuals. Those who dedicate time to studying investments, financial planning, and economics don't just acquire information, they acquire power. A power that no one can take away from you because it resides within you. According to a study by the National Endowment for Financial Education, people who spend at least 30 minutes a day learning about personal finance tend to save 30% more than those who don't. That difference, accumulated over years, can mean tens of thousands of dollars ahead of those who ignore this knowledge. Imagine learning about investments through a book and discovering the importance of compound interest. You invest $100 a month for 20 years at 8% per year. At the end of the period, you'll have over $60,000, while the same money left in a checking account would have lost value due to inflation. A single, well-implemented idea can save you thousands of dollars, or even generate the seeds of wealth that will transform your life. Financial ignorance is expensive. Knowledge, on the other hand, is the most valuable asset there is because it grows over time and multiplies with practice. Reading, studying, and applying it isn't just a habit, it's an investment in yourself, in your freedom, and in your future peace of mind. Start with essential books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. Rule 6. Reduce to grow. Wealth doesn't always come from earning more money. It's often built by learning to live with less. Every expense you control, every bill you review, every service you renegotiate is like pruning a tree. By cutting away what's unnecessary, you allow it to grow stronger and healthier. According to a Consumer Reports study, the average family can save between $500 and $1,200 a year simply by reviewing and optimizing their internet, phone, and unused subscriptions. That money you save today doesn't disappear. Tomorrow, it can be invested, multiplied, and brought you closer to financial freedom. Suppose your monthly bills total $1,000. If you manage to reduce just 10% by reviewing services, eliminating forgotten subscriptions, or switching providers, you'd be saving $100 a month, $1,200 a year. That money, invested wisely, can generate compound interest that, over the long term, will exceed several times what you initially saved. Cutting expenses isn't an act of sacrifice, it's an act of power. It's deciding that every dollar counts and that your money should work for you, not against you. Think of it like weeding a garden. Every freed up space allows your most valuable plants to grow strong and healthy. Review your monthly utilities and eliminate those you don't use. Renegotiate phone, internet, and insurance rates. Shop consciously, avoiding impulse spending. Every adjustment you make today is a building block for your freedom tomorrow. If you want your wealth to grow solidly and steadily, start by cutting back on what you don't need. Rule 7. The ritual of eating at home. At first glance, eating at home may seem like a minor detail. However, this daily habit has a profound impact on both your health and your financial freedom. In the United States, the average person spends more than $3,000 a year on meals out alone. If you think over the course of a decade, that's $30,000 that could have been invested, multiplied, or used to build an emergency fund. Cooking at home isn't just about saving money. It's an act of discipline, self-love, and planning. Every meal you prepare represents a small act of control over your life and your finances. What's more, science backs it up. Studies show that people who eat at home regularly tend to be healthier and consume up to 50% fewer calories than those who rely on restaurants. If you decide to reduce your eating out from 5 times a week to once a week, you could save approximately $200 a month. In 1 year, that adds up to $2,400, money that can be transformed into an investment or strategic savings for your financial goals. It's not about depriving yourself, but rather about choosing with intention. Every time you prepare your own food, you are strengthening your finances, your discipline, and your ability to make conscious decisions in other areas of your life. If you feel this habit can transform your well-being and finances, write in the comments, "I welcome success, money, and happiness into my life." Rule 8. Debt freedom. Every debt you incur acts like an invisible chain. It not only limits your financial freedom, but also drains your emotional energy and your ability to dream big. According to the U.S. Federal Reserve, the average person carries more than $6,000 in credit card debt. The accrued interest can cause this figure to double or even triple over time. Paying off your debt isn't just a financial act, it's an act of personal liberation. Every payment you make reduces not only the principal owed, but also the anxiety, pressure, and mental burden these chains create. If you have $5,000 in debt with an 18% annual interest rate, paying just the minimum can cost you more than $4,000 in interest before you pay it off completely. But if you plan ahead and pay an extra $200 each month, you'll not only pay off your debt sooner, but you'll also save thousands of dollars in interest and regain the freedom to decide how to use your money. True financial freedom isn't about earning more, but about living without chains. Every debt paid off is a step toward independence. Now you can invest, save, and build your wealth without invisible burdens. Imagine your life like a bird that finally breaks out of its cage. Every debt paid off is a gate that disappears, and with it, the possibility of flying higher and further. Rule 9. The credit card deception. At first glance, credit cards seem like allies. Convenient, fast, and comfortable, but they're often traps disguised as convenience. The average credit card interest rate exceeds 20% annually. This means that if you buy something for $1,000 and only pay the minimum each month, you could end up owing $1,200 or more, not counting late fees or additional charges. The problem isn't the card itself, but how we use it. The ease of buying now and paying later can create an illusion of wealth, while the reality is that you're accumulating invisible debt that limits your financial freedom. Suppose you have $2,000 in debt with a 22% interest rate. If you only pay the minimum monthly, it could take you more than 10 years to pay it off and end up paying more than $4,000 in interest. On the other hand, if you use cash or debit cards, each purchase is limited to what you actually have, and your money works for you, not for the banks. Financial discipline is your true ally. Learning to live without relying on credit cards allows you to control your cash flow, avoid debt, and save for what really matters. Think of cards as knives, useful in the right hands, dangerous in inexperienced ones. The difference lies in the awareness and discipline you apply every day. If you decide to free yourself from these traps and take full control of your money, write it in the comments. Nothing stops me, everything drives me. Rule 10. The discipline of conscious spending. Financial success doesn't come overnight, nor does it depend on a big stroke of luck. It stems from thousands of small, conscious decisions you make every day. Every time you choose not to spend impulsively, every time you decide to save before you buy, you are training your mind and your habits toward prosperity. According to a study by behavioral economics, people who practice conscious spending habits save up to 30% more than those who act on impulse. That difference, accumulated over years, can represent tens of thousands of dollars in investment, savings, or wealth creation. Suppose you avoid a $50 impulse purchase each week. In a year, that equates to $2,600 that you can redirect toward your investment fund, an emergency fund, or a personal project. The real secret isn't just in what you save, but in the mindset you develop: control, foresight, and discipline. Think of your mind as a muscle. Every conscious spending decision is a workout that makes you stronger, more resilient, and better prepared to take advantage of financial opportunities when they arise. True wealth doesn't lie solely in your bank account, but in your ability to make smart and consistent decisions. A disciplined mind generates wealth long before physical money. Today, we explored 10 principles that aren't just advice, they're seeds. It's up to you to water them, cultivate them, and allow them to grow in your life. Remember, money doesn't change who you are, it only amplifies what already exists within you. And if you've made it this far, it's because the desire to build a freer, more prosperous, and more conscious life already beats within you. If this resonated with you, it's because you're ready for the next message. Subscribe and join me on this journey. The journey is just beginning.